begin by asking you a few questions. In your opinion, what percentage of girls do engineering? Any guesses? Probably if you're thinking that the answer is in low numbers, you're absolutely right. So it's approximately, the figure is less than 30%. Okay. Then let me ask another question. What is the percentage of girls who get into civil engineering? Who do civil engineering? Well, I don't know the percentage, but one thing I can assure you that it's not a very healthy number, considering that there are far more males than females in civil engineering. In fact, the gender ratio is more skewed. It's the second most skewed probably discipline in engineering after mechanical. Now, let me ask a third question. So, what percentage of women do you think aspire for IAS or are in IAS? Forget about aspiring. What is the percentage of women in IAS? Okay. So here, if you might take a guess, it would be approximately, I do not know what you're guessing, but it would be again less than 30%, somewhere in the range of 25-30%. So my other questions to you are, how many of you know to cook? खाना पकाना आता है आपको? Another question, how many of you know horse riding? घोड़ा चलाना आता है? How many of you know or have worked with the NGO? So all these, once somebody can say, मेरे को घोड़ा चलाना आता है, मेरे को खाना पकाना आता है, मेरे को ये करना आता है, या ये फला ढिमका. But today the guest that is joining us is someone very, very special. Today we would like to, so without further ado, let me try and welcome who the special guest is. Her name is, just one second, let me see, I'm trying to invite her. Just one second. Coming, the incredible, the amazing Yashomati Patil. She happens to be, first of all, she has done a schooling in a Sainik school. Remember, there are only 33 Sainik schools in India. Okay, welcome Yashomati, how are you? Very good morning.
I'm good. Very good morning, sir.
Because to put your video on landscape, so that would be a little better. You can just adjust it. So in the meantime, very quickly briefing Yashomati. So what special about her? Yashomati happens to be a B civil engineer. First of all, she studied in a Sainik school. She's done a civil engineering B, which is very rare for ladies. And she knows to ride horses. She knows to cook, although she prefers to describe herself as an experimenter in the kitchen. So we will ask her a little bit about that. And she also has worked in NGO. Plus, she is an aspirant for IAS, Indian Administrative Service. अभी कितना सारा चीज आपको इसी उम्र में करना है कि कुछ बुढ़ापे के लिए भी छोड़ना है यशोमती जी आपको? You want to achieve one thing now? What do your friends think about you? Okay, so you're all welcome, Yashomati. What do your friends think about you? I suspect if you're a close friend, I would really hate you because you are a source of inspiration, but also source of great complex. वो लोग बोलते नहीं आपको कि यार बस कर यार बच्चे की जान लोगे क्या? How do your friends react? Things you being so multifaceted, so multi-talented.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here. और आप इतनी तारीफ कर रहे हैं, तो I think I do have lots of friends who think that I'm quite confident when it comes to communication skills, or when it comes, some of also thinks that I do write good quotes or a few poetic compositions, although I haven't posted it anywhere. And I would like to say that I'm an absorber. Whatever I do learn, I try to inculcate those things in me. I try to explore new things. I like to talk to people. So even if people do develop complex, somehow they manage to talk with me nicely.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's an interesting answer. By the way, okay. Probably okay. Let me not comment on that, but I think that's a pretty well prepared answer. I would say a pretty good answer. I would say, but uh,
So it was not fair.
seriously, you are really doing so much. I mean, it's very rare to have somebody with the qualities that you have. I mean, I don't know how many. So when you have that, so you, like I said, you know, like एक हमेशा एक बोलते हैं ना जिस दोस्तों में कि I feel very happy for my friend, but the moment my friend achieves something more than me, then I begin to feel a little unhappy. So I hope that's not the case in your case.
No, sir. Actually, I'm very particular about choosing friends. All of my friends are quite wiser, and
Right.
generally, I tend to, develop rapport with people who are elder than me. Sometimes yes, I can say I do have friends who are 10 to 12 years elder than me. I also
Okay.
have, my best friend who is of the same age, but she's more happy for me than, like you said, something.
Cool. Okay. So that's another something unique you have found about her. So she has friends which are typically more, which are elder to her. One more very interesting tidbit about Yashomati is her brother is in the army. If I'm not mistaken, am I correct, Yashomati?
Yes, my cousin brother is in army.
Perfect. So there is already a history of service to the nation out here. So definitely she's on a great track. And yes, she's a voracious reader. Okay, one of the reasons I decided to invite her because I'm inviting specifically all the amazing readers with amazing qualities out here on the show. So uh, you have described yourself not as somebody who likes cooking, but somebody who likes to experiment in the kitchen. Why is that, Yashomati? So I hope you. So do you, is it normally do the experiments turn out to be good for for the audience, or do they turn out to be usually bad? Can you just elaborate on that?
Generally good. Mostly my audience has been my brother who
Huh.
tells me to cook something. He says, "Be I want something spicy or I want something sweet." So I do cook. I try to be innovative because sometimes the traditional recipes are, not that much. Makes us, I like to try different things. So, yeah,
What is your,
experimenting is good, I think.
what is your favorite dish, Yashomati? Which one do you like to really? I mean, which one is your specialty, if I may ask? Favorite experiment?
Uh, I have tried lots of experiments on Maggie, I guess, and
Come on, you
I have
can't
tried it
manage.
in.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, that's why I said, sir, I do like to experiment. I'm not expert in the kitchen. That's my mom, but I try to
okay,
learn few things, and yeah, I have
okay.
made Maggie pakoda. So one day,
That's
so
interesting.
that's
That's
my.
interesting. I never heard of that. Maggie Pakoda. That's something unique. All right. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. And so tell me, also you have, how difficult was horse riding? That's also not something very, I know probably would have learned in Scenic school, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes, sir.
How,
Um,
how can you tell me a little bit, your experience with that particular activity, horse riding? It's something little different.
Yes, sir, I think horse is a really wonderful animal, and he or that particular horse, she or that horse has the connection with the rider. Once you try
Uh-huh.
to understand that horse,
Uh,
trust me, even with your touch, that horse can tell you what kind of rider you are. And it
okay.
was wonderful experience in scenic school, and it was like meditation for me. And whenever I used to go for the horse riding, I felt something that, this is something I really like to do. I used to feel calm and very serene, I guess.
Right, right, right. So interestingly, you are now revealing one more through your answer, one more attribute about yourself, which is that you like psychology, not just about people, but also about animals. The very fact that talking about, the probably the touching of the psychology of, horse. That's a kind of interesting attribute. Okay. So let me come to so you enjoy the sport, right? You enjoy the activity.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now let's come to books. So you're a voracious reader. Okay. Typically, which genre of books do you typically read, and who happens to be? I don't like to ask this question, but which set of authors do you like? Which genres do you typically like, and which set of authors do you typically like?
Sir, I'm really not a genre-specific person. I like the kind of writers who write in the simple language, but there is some sense of continuity in their writing, or especially your debut. I would like to talk here. When I read your debut, Just Kidding, Yours Destiny, I couldn't
Okay.
stop myself from reading that book. And
Thank you so much.
I think, yes, sir. Actually, it is one of the reasons that I started reading again. After, after 12th standard to first or second year, I did not, read that much books. But when I picked your book, actually, that was suggested by my librarian, Vishwasa sir. So he told me to read this book, and I read it, and I loved it so much that I even wrote review to you, instantly. And right now, I specifically read nonfiction or philosophical books, or the books which are related to, or the authors who had specialed in the psychology. I haven't read psychology mainstream books, but I like the writers who understand psychology of people wonderfully. So you're one of them, sir, I would like to say. And
Thank you
another
so much.
one is, yeah.
Uh,
And another one I would like to say, like the philosophical. Recently, I was reading The Difficulty of Being Good, The Subtle Art of Dharma, written by Gurcharan Das.
yeah.
I mean, he is a Harvard graduate in philosophy, I guess, and
Right.
his professor was John Rawls, who is one of the greatest figure in field of philosophy, and he has connected the dots of mythology, or the morality in given in the mythology, and
Amazing.
how it is relevant in the present scenario.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Uh, okay. And which is the latest book that you have read right now? I mean, which book are you reading right now?
Sir, actually, I'm reading every day, and it is all about my preparation. But
So,
the difficulty of being good is I'm currently reading,
okay.
and I think I like to read that book in bits and pieces, because it's not a one-time go book. So you can read whenever you want to, and you can grasp the complete concept of that particular philosophy or morality for that matter.
Amazing. Amazing. Just one second. I stay in a place where unfortunately, these planes fly. So you keep hearing this noise once in a while. This.
It is absolutely fine, sir. No problem.
So, uh, so tell me now something. So typically, how would you describe yourself as a? So okay, what has really inspired you to do, aspire or try for IAS? Let's ask this question, because like you, that would be a great source of inspiration for many who are trying, probably want to try for IAS. And typically, can you tell us, how you're going about your process of cracking IAS?
Um, Sir, I think it started in the engineering. It was not my childhood dream that I want to become an IAS. This is something which I have realized that, I think I should do this, because this is my area. When I was in engineering, I came to know that I was no longer enjoying the studies. I used to
Uh,
get marks, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But even if I was getting good marks, or getting complimented by teachers, I was not really happy in that. And
right,
then the journey began, actually. What do I want to do in my life, or what do I like, or work is something, especially talking about profession, you consume lot of energy and time of your day. So I wanted
right,
something where I will feel satisfied and happy at the end of the day. And civil services is something, even if you're exhausted or doing overtime in your work, you're doing it for a larger good. You know, a lot of people are going to get influenced, or a lot of people are going to get benefited from that. And this attribute came from NGO, like you mentioned before. I used to work in NGO. Thanks to my colleagues who inspired me a lot, who appreciated my work, and the members of Agnipank Foundation really helped me to get to know me better, because I
Okay.
was really amazing teacher there. Students were
Right.
responding nice, and that's when I realized this is something I feel, while doing it, I feel happy. So I want to do it. I wanted to do it in a larger sector, and IAS was offering that. I think that's what inspired me for pursue the UPSC or IAS for that
You're
sake.
lucky. You're lucky that, or I would say that it's very good that you were able to get your dream, understand your dream very early on in life. हम लोग को जैसे, so many of us, we come, or I probably would come in that category. Many of us, and there's no right or wrong. We come to know काफी late पता चलता है कि आपने करना क्या life में. ठीक है, that's perfectly fine. So one more thing, can you tell us about your preparation part? How many hours do you study? कितना घंटे आप घिसती हो?
Sir, it differs actually, but I try to maintain 6 to 8 hours minimum. I do put
6 to 8
sincerely
hours, eh?
in my study. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not 6 hours even. Sometimes it's not even just 10 hours or 8 hours. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But at least I try to maintain 6 to 8 hours, irrespective of my mood swings or moods, for that sake.
Amazing. For those who are listening, two things you may not know about Yashomati. For preparing for IAS, she has two things she does, which I found very unique and incredible. The first thing is that she has cut herself out from social media. Now, imagine somebody like her cutting, today I cannot think of, or no, most of us cannot think of cutting ourselves off from social media. So she's sacrificing that. In fact, I had to request her to come on board Instagram Live. मैंने गुफा से बाहर निकाला है, ये इंटरव्यू के बाद वापस गुफा में चले जाएगी वो, ठीक है ना? तो IAS प्रिपरेशन गुफे में. The second part is she gets up at what, 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock. What time do you get up?
Yes, sir. 4:30 to 5 o'clock.
4:30 to 5 o'clock. So guys, inspiration is one thing, but मेहनत तो करना ही है आपको if you want to try. ठीक है ना? So here is somebody that you can take some tips from. Okay, Yashomati, quickly on my books now. You have read both my books, right? If you look
Yes.
at Are You Kidding Me, which is the story that you like really best and why?
Um, it's tough to decide, sir, but I will say it's not about dal chawal. It's something usually happens, but somehow the character of Adhira was, a bit annoying, but you managed to make that scene completely humorous, rather hilarious, I will say. And that is the character, which I truly do not like people like Adhira, or people who are a bit impatient, or annoying, and who is not getting that someone is getting annoyed by persistent messaging or communication. It is good to have communication in any relationship, but sometimes over communication creates lots of mess, or we get annoyed basically. But you wonderfully managed there to make that story hilarious. And another one was the pitch. I like that as well.
Which one? Sorry.
The pitch.
Okay, the pitch. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm happy that you like them. That's a basic idea. That's a basic idea. And okay. And coming back to JKYD, which is the scene that you like the best? Which is the scene?
Um, Sir, I do not remember that story right now, because I have read book, a year ago, and
Yeah.
recently
Yeah.
I read two stories that those are in my mind. Just.
Okay. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I can imagine with the amount of reading you obviously would have forgotten that, which that's perfectly fine.
Sir, I'm really sorry, because I do not want to, create something which I do not remember properly on social media,
I mean,
especially.
Yes, Even if somebody to ask me about a book that I completely empathize with, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. One last question, probably. Any book that you want to gift to your enemies, or something, a book that, or maybe second last question, any book that you don't like so much. Let me put this way, or maybe you thought that, or maybe let me put it another way. Any book that you opened and आपको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा, बंद करके आपने रख दिया. And I'm not talking about non-fiction, talking about fiction.
सर आई एम वेरी पर्टिकुलर अबाउट फिक्शन, और आज तक ऐसा कोई बुक नहीं है कि जो मुझे लगा कि आई शुड नॉट रीड इट एनी मोर. आई एम लाइक वेरी श्योर बिफोर पिकिंग अप बुक दैट आई विल राइट, I will read rather that book completely. And I do not have that kind of hatred for someone so that I will think that person is my enemy. But if something of that sort is there, I will give something opposite, which is really nice book and which is hilarious book rather. So I will probably suggest your books to that particular person. Go and read these books. You might like that author, and eventually you will start enjoying your life as well.
Okay.
At least you will smile, and you will thank me for that. That because of this person I could smile or laugh.
Definitely. And this is my last question to you, is that, or maybe if something else comes to my mind, then that will become my last question. But abhi ke liye, can you say something, one thing that is weird about yourself, that, others find weird about you?
So a lot of people do not know that I do have this, right angle wala thing. I cannot stand the frames which are not in the right angle on the wall, and even the clock.
Do you have a weird habit? Something that makes you little. Okay.
So that is the habit that I tend to correct the angles of the frames, irrespective of whose home it is.
Right. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Yashomita. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Anything that you would like to ask me now?
Lot of things, sir. The first question comes to my mind is, Mark Twain, right? He is a humorous author.
He happens to be amongst my top 3, Mark Twain.
Oh, okay. So this question is interesting for you, sir. He was an entrepreneur, lecturer, and humorous writer. And do you think that you are also leading the same path which he has led before? Is he your inspiration, or something that?
I did not know that so I have read. I don't know much about Mark Twain other than the fact that he was an amazing satirist and a humorist and a writer. But other than that, the fact that he's an entrepreneur is something that I've come to know from you today. So, so it's an insight for me today. And if, let us say, if I'm able to achieve even a fraction of what these people have achieved, my icons in literature have achieved, that would be amazing. So, I'm not doing it, deliberately. If it happens, then it's probably a coincidence. It happens. I mean, it's a coincidence. So, basically, I'm an entrepreneur. So, but I mean, it's an honor. It's an honor.
So, but does he inspire you in certain way to write the humorous stories?
Sorry, I couldn't get that. What is that? To repeat?
Does he inspire you to write humorous stories? Because he was, a humorous writer too. He has written a lot of stories.
So, let me put it this way. That's a good question. Does he inspire me to write stories? Well, I will not say any author really inspires me to write stories. That inspiration कहाँ से आता मुझे पता नहीं है. I know that I love a story. I really enjoy stories. ये मुझे पता है. He's got his own style of writing. Very unique style of writing. In fact, most of the authors, every well-known author typically has his own well-known style of writing. So, can I say that if he inspires me to write? I don't know the answer to the question, honestly. Okay. If Mark Twain, Mark Twain is his works I began to read many of his stories after I became an author, not before. So
Oh,
probably
okay.
that would answer the question.
Sir, my next question is very relevant to what you
Sorry?
said now. My next question is very much relevant to what you said now.
Right.
Sir, am I audible properly?
Yeah, you are audio. I think there's some problem with my audio, which is why I probably need to have a hands-free, but that's okay, not a problem. It's my end. Go ahead.
Okay. Sir, a lot of people who write or who likes to write a particular person, there are two kinds of writers. Either, there is something going in their head which inspires them to write, or to, that urge of expressing what is going on in your
Yeah.
mind. Or there are people who are who do cook really nice things in their heads. So, what kind of person are you? Do you cook stories in your head, or just stories, come to your mind, and you just happen to write those stories?
So if you look at my stories, they are all somewhere inspired from real life, including the
Right.
Gubbari Yadav.
Yes.
So what happens? I see something very interesting. That image of that. It's like a seed for a story. एक कहीं से मैं I see some interaction, some photo, some not photo, image, some scene, real life, some interaction. It could be just a flash of a second, or it could be just one or two dialogues, or just some interaction. That plants a seed for me to create something very interesting. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, that gives a whole host of possibilities. इसको that seed becomes a tree in my head. So वैसा है. But so to answer your question, they're all inspired from real life in some way or the other.
Right. Right. So my next question is a bit different.
Yeah.
It's related to morality, and it's related to media, but books are also an important part of media. And do you think that the person who is public figure, or person who is influencing a lot of minds through books or through newspaper or through any content which is expressed through social medias or any medium of media for that sake, should be morally obliged, or should keep in the mind that the content which he or she is expressing must be authentic, and what kind of impact it is going to cause on society? So what is your stand on that morality of content writing?
Uh,
And rather, what would you like to give the message to the rising authors, or the people who are in the mood of writing something, or publishing something for that sake?
so basically, if I've understood your question correctly, can I summarize that you're asking what should be the social media responsibility for upcoming authors? Is that the question?
Sir, responsibility for the content they are writing, for the content they are
Content.
expressing, rather. Yeah.
Okay. So I think somebody mentioned, I think I'm forgetting the name, there's a famous quote that there are 3 rules of writing, and something, and all 3 rules are blank. So I don't know any of the 3 rules. So it's something like that. So there is no hard and fast rule, but see, at the end of the day, there's a very simple rule of writing the way I look at it. What is it that you want to share as a writer with the world, which the world does not know? Something that excites you, but something which something that the world would feel equally excited about, something which is not typically available. There is nothing as original content. We are all creating content from somewhere or the other, but I don't mean copying content. Inspiration ki baat karte, for example, I spoke about something inspired from real life. So can you look at something and share something which is, if you look at all the stories which are written or which are played out in dramatics or in movies, in some form or the other, they are all been acted out or they have all been played. The question here is, can you bring something new, something fresh in terms of story, in terms of the way you say it, the way you write it, and can you share that with the audience, with the people, kind of people who want to hear? Now remember, maybe what I write, maybe not everybody wants to hear that. So, or so not everybody can, so it's like this. If I have a select set of readers who like me, I'll also have a select set of readers who will not like me. So the question is, are you finding, a right audience for the kind of content you're writing? But the important thing is, the content should be something unique, something that excites you, something that is likely to excite the readers. So that's the bottom line. There. There is no hard and fast, and should be legal.
Of course, sir. So my next question is, you have portrayed lots of humorous characters. Which is
Sorry?
your most favorite character? Lots of humorous characters you have portrayed so far.
Right.
So what is your personal favorite humorous character? And if you have chance to spend a day with that particular character, how will it be?
I have already spent my time with those characters when I wrote those characters. Already कर चुका हूँ. But and like it's difficult again. So like you mentioned, अपना सारे character अपने favorite मैंने लिखे हुए हैं. But if I had to really pick somebody, maybe one of the most interesting characters in my mind would be Gubbare Yadav. It's one of the trickiest stories to write and also the most interesting characters. One of the most interesting characters. Okay. So, in fact, another interesting character would be the character that I wrote about Face Off. That's also one of the very interesting stories that have been written. It's very difficult story to write, but again, very, very interesting. So, for example, you mentioned about the pitch. It would be great to spend time with the bank manager in the pitch. Okay, the guy who's the bank manager. So somebody like that. So I don't know if you've met, but it would be real fun to spend some time with him. When he abuses in Punjabi. So that's fun. So it's difficult, but you have all these. There's so many characters which I would like, but maybe one or two characters, maybe a little more. That's it. So.
And which is your least favorite character, sir?
In my books?
Yes.
Least favorite character तो मुश्किल है. I couldn't say that any of them are least. See, they are all shades. The thing about my characters is that they are not black or white. There is nothing heroic about my characters. There is nothing villainish also about my characters. So why would I hate them? Why would anybody hate them? मेरे कैरेक्टर में ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट तो होता ही नहीं है, तो हेट करने का तो सवाल ही पैदा. They are people like you and me.
Yes, and I think it's hard to decide which is least favorite because they are your mind children. So you do not do partiality with your children, even if it's a mind children.
Right. Sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear that. Sorry, could you repeat that?
I said all these characters are your mind children. So you cannot be partial about them. So you cannot say who is least favorite.
Absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. You're right. Cannot.
Right. So you asked me the weird habit about me. I would like to know yours.
No, so we don't have to follow Newton's third law. You know Newton's third law, right? So modified Newton's third law that whatever question I ask also gets an equal and opposite question. That's a nahi hona chahiye.
But it should be. We would like to know what is your weird habit.
Can I use my host privileges by not answering that question? No, I'll answer it. Let me think. So weird habit. What weird habit do I have? I'm just trying to figure food habits के बारे में बात करें या So maybe I think while taking a bath, let me mention just one. So typically लोग जब नहाते हैं तो people, this is something that has been pointed out to me by my friends, by the way. This मुझे पता नहीं था ये चीज. So when I take a bath, I finish my bath in 5 minutes. Why? Because it's like pat. Okay, it's like 5 minutes and I'm done. So they used to find very amusing that normally लोग washroom जाते हैं तो आधा घंटा लगाते 1 घंटा लगाते हैं. For me, washing is a major headache. मतलब taking a bath.
Okay.
So I could get it done with as least amount of time as possible. That could be one. The second one, the second weird habit वो अभी थोड़ा कम हो गया. When I was doing dancing, मैं जब dance practice कर रहा था, this nobody is aware about this. I'm sharing something very confidential on this platform. So what used to happen is that जब काम के time मेरे काम मैं corporate प्रेशर बहुत होता था मेरा, तो मैं क्या करता था ब्रेक के दौरान आई यूज्ड टू गो आउट फॉर लंच एंड देन व्हाइल वॉकिंग बैक आई यूज्ड टू डू डांस स्टेप्स एंड गो एंड देन आई यूज्ड टू बी वेरी केयरफुल कि देख तो नहीं रहा है. मैं आई यूज्ड टू प्रैक्टिस माय डांस स्टेप्स, so that is to get me back in the mood. नहीं तो so that used to be something very, and I used to always keep a watch out कोई देख तो नहीं रहा है, because see remember I'm not a junior employee, I'm a senior employee. A senior employee अगर किसी ने पकड़ लिया वही डांस स्टेप कर रहा है थोड़ा सा दिक्कत हो सकता है. That was a little weird.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else?
No, that's fine. So, I think we have had a great conversation. In fact, great interaction out here. So, to all those, now what we'll do is, so we have kind of picked on each other's brains. So, let us see if those who are watching, so far we have not paid any attention to them. So, but I think let us look at if they have. I just wave out to those who have joined. Just 1 second. Let's see. Let us see any questions if they asked. Any questions asked by the audience. Okay, let's see that. Great to see you guys. Great to hear from our favorite author. Every fiction needs real inspiration. But questions kya hai? 1 second. I'll just wave out to some guys. Let me see. Somebody asked a question here. Mohit, Shweta. Let me see. 1 second. यहाँ पे क्या लैंडस्केप ना मुंडी ऐसा करना पड़ता है. इंस्टाग्राम में थोड़ा सा दिक्कत है.
तो पोर्ट्रेट पे रख सकते थे.
That's fine. That's okay. Okay, so I guess people are still taking in. Some people are still joining in. So if anybody has any questions, otherwise, what we'll do is we'll now wrap up this quickly. So guys, let me see. Maybe if anybody has any questions, quickly we'll wrap. Anybody has any questions to ask Yashomita?
Please go ahead. Yashomati.
If anybody wants to ask any difficult question, all difficult questions, please ask Yashomita. All super easy questions, please ask me. Okay, anybody, all those watching.
Sir, if I may correct you, it's Yashomati.
1 second. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, Yashomita. So what we'll do is just 1 second. We'll wrap up the discussion here itself. So to all those who are listening, who have joined in and who had joined in earlier, to all those who are watching right now, once again reminding you that we have today. So first of all, this is we have today with us Yashomita Patil, the incredible Yashomita Patil. Yashomita, thank you very much for joining this this show, Khatti Meethi Conversations. So hopefully, I found it very interesting, very insightful. Got a lot of great insights from you, and hopefully those who are watching also got some great insights from you. And I wish you all the very best in your preparation for IAS. I cannot imagine, somebody in IAS having a sense of humor, and you definitely would be adding to the sense. Somebody, an IAS officer with a sense of humor would be something amazing. So I'm sincerely hoping that you crack it in the first attempt itself. Wishing all the very best, and God bless. Take care. All right.
Thank you.
So to all those who are watching, till we meet again next Sunday, 11 a.m. with another incredible guest. All right. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Take care. See you.
Thank you.